สวัสดีค่ะพี่แพนวันนี้แป้งเอารูปสวยๆมาฝากนะคะนี่นะคะเป็นรูปของ spinal cord ค่ะเป็นเพราะว่าวันนี้แป้งจะมาพรีเซนต์เกี่ยวกับ spinal cord ค่ะ So hi, today I am going to be presenting about spinal cord. My name is Wanmarin Virsan and my student ID is 6129025. Okay, so the spinal cord, it is a vital link between the brain and the body and vice versa. It extends from the foramen magnum, this pink circle, and where it is continuous with the medulla to the first or the second lumbar level of the lumbar vertebrae. And the spinal cord is 40 to 50 centimeters long and 1 to 1.5 centimeters in diameter. Two rows of nerve roots emerge on each of the side of the spinal cord and it goes into the intervertebral foramen. And these nerve roots form 31 pairs of spinal nerves. And the spinal cord is a cylindrical structure and contains both white and gray matter and divided into 5 regions. You can see in this picture is the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal, and each of the region contain. So first, the cervical contains 8 segments, thoracic 12, lumbar 5, sacral 5, and coccygeal contains 1. So for external form, you can see that the spinal cord is a cylindrical structure as I mentioned before, but there are two particular areas that the spinal cord that are slightly enlarged. It's called the cervical enlargement and lumbar enlargement, in which the cervical enlargement on top, it corresponds to the segment C4 to T1, and lumbar enlargement in bottom corresponds to L1 or L2 to S3. And this is where the nerve plexus that innervates the upper and lower limb emerges. That's why it's thicker than the rest of the spinal cord. And the distal end of the spinal cord terminates in a coccygeal structure. You can see it's called the conus medullaris in L1. And a strand of connective tissue extends, which attaches from the conus medullaris to the first coccygeal vertebrae. And this strand is called filum terminale. And it's easier to see in this picture. The yellow line is called filum terminale, and the lumbar and sacral spinal nerves hangs from the conus medullaris like a horse tail in red right here. So for the Latin word horsetail, it's called quada equina. That's why the collection of spinal nerve in this area is called quada equina. And this is spinal meninges. So the cord is sheeted into 3 layers, which includes pia, arachnoid, and dura. And the dura in the outer, it is a tough outer sheath, and arachnoid lies beneath it. And for the last one is pia, which is closely adheres to the surface of the cord, which is the white. There's also spaces between them. And the first one is the extradural, it's the outermost, subdural between dura and arachnoid, and subarachnoid between pia and arachnoid. For the second picture, we can see that the spinal cord is attached to the dura by a series of lateral denticulate ligaments emanating from the pia folds. Okay, so sulci and fissure. So for the external features, you can see the anterior medial fissure and posterior medial fissure. This separates into left and right halves. And the posterior lateral sulcus, which top left, is attachment of the dorsal rootlets, and anterior lateral sulcus in both bottom left and right is attachment of ventral rootlets. And posterior intermediate sulcus, this top right area is between posterior median sulcus and dorsolateral sulcus. It's very important because you can find it only from C1 to T6 only. And for rootlets, the rootlets form the ventral rootlets in red, dorsal rootlets in green. It converges into spinal nerves, leaves intervertebral foramina, and goes to another division called ventral and dorsal ramus, which ventral is in red, dorsal ramus is in green, and ventral is actually a lot thicker, but you can't see it. The swelling of dorsal roots, this is called the dorsal root ganglion right here, contains a cell body of primary afferent neurons, which enter into the dorsal horns, and the cell bodies of the ventral roots are contained within the gray matter of the spinal cord. And that's why they don't have ventral root ganglion. And this picture you can see primary afferent neuron enter into the dorsal root. In blue, you can see afferent, A afferent, and the efferent neurons leave the ventral roots, E in red, the bottom red. And you can easily remember this in same day, which sensory afferent, motor efferent, and dorsal afferent, ventral efferent. So it like goes together, and it's easy like for you to remember it this way. And you can see that there's also the monosynaptic reflex, which involve only one central synapse in the spinal cord gray matter between the afferent and efferent neurons. And you can see the gray matter in the picture. This is a cell body, and white is axon. So I'm done, and but before I go, as like this is around the Songkran หนูอยากรดน้ำดำหัวแล้วก็ให้พวงมาลัยกับพี่แพนนะคะแต่เนื่องจากว่าช่วงนี้มีโคโรนาไวรัสแล้วก็ติดอยู่บ้านนะคะงั้นหนูขอรดน้ำดำหัวออนไลน์นะคะพี่แพนก็หนูขออวยพรให้พี่แพนมีสุขภาพแข็งแรงค่ะอยู่เป็นร่มโพกับพวกเราไปนานๆนะคะมีความสุขมากๆแล้วก็สุขสันต์วันสงกรานต์นะคะพี่แพน stay safe from corona ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ